It all starts inside the imposing walls of Rahway State Prison in New Jersey. Dwight Braxton was doing 5 years for an armed robbery.
Dwight was arrested and eventually convicted for robbing this bar, the Dreamers Lounge.
He came from a large family, and the family trade was crime.
The chances of me heading where I ended up at in jail was great. You know, the chance of me going was great because there was no direction, you know, so things were scarce at home, and fate took its course.
It was inside those walls where a 25-year-old Dwight discovered the talent that would take him from wasting away in a cell to more than just champion of the world.
Heavyweight champion from Camden, New Jersey, the Camden Buzzsaw, Dwight Braxton.
He became a blueprint for short boxers everywhere.
He knows how to get inside, he knows how to fight inside, but he can also box, and he's very quick.
Now up, trying to weather the storm, a hard left hook, a right, a left, another right.
He stood 5 feet 6 inches on tippy toes and was built thicker than the walls of Rahway. He was the shorter man in every fight.
Braxton gave some of the ring away, then backs Martin onto the rope.
Dwight didn't seem to mind. It made things very simple.
That Martin loaded there just missed. Hard right hand by Braxton. Martin back into the rope.
The stump of muscle had nowhere to go but forward. He was released in 1978 and sought the guidance of a man much like himself. He made the commute to Philly to train at the side of legendary heavyweight swarmer Joe Frazier. While Braxton was built and hit like a brick, brute force will only take you so far.
Have your brain, then you have to use the logic and the creativeness of your brain. So, you know, I use both. You know, it's a thinking man's thing, you know, if you want to survive and be good.
It was under Frazier that Dwight developed his fluid fundamentals. Frazier taught him the upside of getting low.
Straight toward him, the first knockdown. Down was
How to make an opponent pay for their misses in blood.
Back with a right hand of his own, and another right hand to the back of the head, and shot again, wobbles and is against the rope.
How to time a counter jab that jammed a taller fighter's mouthpiece down their throat. Every fight, Dwight wore that sociopathic smile as he flew at and smashed his opponents, like a shark's grin painted on a dive bomber. Dwight got an opportunity against the 40-6 former champion Mike Rossman.
Former light heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Rossman.
In effect, the count continues after the bell, except in the final 10th round, concerned himself that his defense isn't as good as it should be.
This is going to be. It reminds me of a crab as he's coming in. Very, very difficult target on the way in.
Just landed 2 good shots inside.
Rossman was an upright, stick-and-move fighter with a wealth of experience.
You know, the counter for a jab is a good left hook.
Despite having only a quarter of the fights, Dwight looked much more the seasoned veteran.
He does fight like an experienced fighter. He's only had 14 pro fights, but he fights like he's had a lot of experience. Look at the way he moves that head and slips those punches.
Not only was he getting underneath the lanky ex-champ's shots,
Washington, his brother Andy,
He's still going for the head. Andy should be missing those head punches.
good right hand from Braxton. Counter punching out the ropes.
he did more than maul to get inside Rossman's reach.
Braxton's jab is the key to his beating Rossman. Now Rossman did something there. Braxton threw a...
His power jabs kept Rossman on the back foot.
Rossman more comfortable counter punching.
After 7 one-sided rounds, Dwight had him figured out.
They had it.
Rossman now definitely knocking his timing off. Every time he tries it.
Again,
Okay, he walked into it, and he really wobbled with that shot.
can't out-jab this guy.
That shark smile across his face as a left hook put Rossman down for good.
Look at that body. It's like a rock. Not an ounce of fat on it, man.
Dwight then returned to Rahway, this time by choice.
They all asking me why I come into Rahway State Prison. It's simple. To fight another man.
Dwight wasn't the only man in Rahway who boxed behind bars. James Scott was a con with a record.
It seems foolish to come in here, and I question the strategy of his manager for accepting the fight. On the other hand, he's just another fighter. He's got to fight somebody. The money is good. The national exposure is good. And if he wins here, there's no question but that he is the #1 guy standing in front of Saad Muhammad.
He was training with Angelo Dundee and put together 11 wins when he was convicted of the robbery that saw him locked up. Scott was still taking fights with whoever didn't mind going to prison to fight him.
An inmate here at Rahway State Prison. He is serving a life sentence for murder and a 30 to 40-year term for armed robbery. First of all, he doesn't know how to...
Dwight returned to Rahway, determined to face the jailhouse legend.
Those are the flurries that can win fights, 6-7 unanswered punches, but here's Braxton. And Rahway State Penitentiary is by no means...
In front of an audience of convicts, Dwight stabbed with jabs.
Out of the white, now trying to go to the body where he does much damage.
That crazy decision that we got with the Snipes Garcia fight, it was more than 2 weeks ago.
Cut the ring with hooks.
Left hand by Scott. He tried to follow with the right, but could not.
There was no reason for him to bounce around the first 5 or 6.
And did his best to leave the convict king of Rahway in a heap. Scott managed to survive the attack, but just barely. Braxton left Rahway the second time, the clear #1 contender.
He deserves a shot at the title, and we're going to see that he gets it.
I deserve a shot. All right, got me run through the old horses. Give me the pony.
He was set to face the most exciting champion to ever live. Matthew Saad Muhammad twice won the Fight of the Year. As champion, all but one of his 8 title fights ended in a KO.
He is a devastating puncher, as most of you boxing fans know.
All those fights, legendary wars, seemed to catch up to Saad like Dwight did.
I know for a fact that I will be victorious.
Engineering department. He's first using Braxton off him, using the left jab. Trying to get in.
Saad's jab became just another opportunity for Dwight to make him miss.
Through the second round. Good right. And the left one in there. He's fighting cleverly. Right. For whatever. Another good right. He's fighting his way. And he may have hurt Braxton. No, Braxton. One possible. Oh, a good right by Braxton hurt Saad Muhammad. You saw it. Good rights and one good left Braxton has. And he's pouring the blows on Saad Muhammad and hurting him.
Dwight was coming out of his crouch with vicious counters.
Saad's head back with a left. It's hard to fight off when he gets inside like that, Mr. Braxton.
When Saad couldn't find a home for his jab, he tried fighting Dwight inside, but ended up beat up and bleeding.
Blood all over the desk. Muhammad then a left, but Braxton's doing the damage in this.
The difference was defense.
Now Saad Muhammad trying to come to. Minute to go in the 4th round. A tremendous round. Look at the blood coming out of Saad Muhammad's nose. the recuperative powers of the past. Look at that right lead. Muhammad holding his sod to keep those hands up, meaning specifically the left. Slot by Braxton. See it there in the infighting, and again. First to the bench. Occasionally and hurting the champion. There's that right lead. Braxton is having more target practice now.
The final round was as savage as it was one-sided, because the old champion couldn't land a thing, and the new one couldn't miss.
Mid-rip and then up with those same short snapping blows. And he is in deep trouble and he goes down. Remember, the 3 knockdown rule is waived. There is nothing but blood now on Saad Muhammad's upper lip. This time, he appears ready to lose his title. They're going in. They're trying to stop the fight.
Light heavyweight had a new shot caller.
Weight champion from Camden, New Jersey, the Camden Buzzsaw. You heard him say in the pre-fight interview, the man has a perfect style for me. Come a long way and you've made a whole new life for yourself.
Thank Allah. All
Congratulations
praises
again.
due to Allah. I thank all my fear nothing but Allah. Allah the nurse and the sustainer.
Congratulations, Jay.
In 1982, Dwight converts to Islam and changes his name from Dwight Braxton to become Dwight Muhammad Qawi.
Islam woke me up. Islam taught me that the earth is spacious, that a man can accomplish what he will, and just, it's a way of life.
Qawi made 3 defenses of his championship before getting an opportunity to become undisputed champion against Michael Spinks. A week out from the fight, Qawi was diagnosed with pneumonia. Qawi continued against doctor's orders.
Sideways that he can do damage. So far, Braxton and Spinks' defense set another good right hand by Braxton. That was a slip. And now Spinks hammers him. Impeccably conditioned for this fight.
To really work Michael Spinks, because Spinks doesn't really start off this fast.
That was pretty good. It is a very exuberant crowd, but
Spinks took the early rounds with his length and volume.
that left hook a moment ago landing behind.
Take the left jab, my left hook.
Here's a good right hand, and Braxton was hurt by that. Left hand by Braxton.
As the mid-rounds rolled in, Qawi was starting to hit his stride.
This man off balance, got jab.
There was a mention earlier will have been the toughest of Michael Spinks, but Braxton ducks under a barrage. There's a combination by
See, he's made his body punches thrown by Braxton.
And there's a good right hand by Braxton. That was a good solid shot by Braxton. Spinks right back with the left hand. That also is a push.
But the sickness took its toll over the long run.
It seems to me at least to be measuring Spinks a little bit better now.
Qawi faded late and ended up backtracking against a taller man. And it lost him the title.
Still undefeated and the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, Michael Spinks.
An injury prevented a scheduled rematch. If he couldn't get a rematch with Michael Spinks, one Spinks was as good as another.
He is. He's qualified. He's qualified. He's for real. He's for real in his own mind, at least, and that's what counts. Because I'm not gonna make him any better than what he is.
Dwight came into his fight with Leon Spinks spiteful, had a point to make, and no fear the former heavyweight champion. Leon Spinks had the most recognizable smile in boxing.
There is a good look at Qawi in his corner, once called Dwight Braxton, and here he comes to the middle of the ring to meet very low. He is open for that right hand. And a good left in that exchange, and there the right uppercut got through the defense. He dethroned Muhammad Ali. Qawi landing the right.
Spinks proved to his brother when he fought him.
Again, got a right uppercut through the defense.
He's just eating him up on the inside.
Dwight did his best to add to the gap in Leon's teeth.
Blow by Qawi. Leon just won't throw that uppercut inside that I think could be a
But the real gap between them was one of skills and ability.
Jam in Detroit. This round.
Leon just took a devastating right around those 15 extra pounds. Leon Spinks, this is extraordinary.
And Qawi, of course, like so many champions, is the classic rags to riches story. First dabbled in boxing while he was...
And a man many feel is just a grown-up light heavyweight. Those punches are scoring and scoring hard.
And which he's ever fought as a professional, that in itself is a difficult transition.
Qawi toyed with the elder Spinks, then beat him bloody on the ropes.
I believe 5 rounds textbook display of inside punching by Qawi against the Leon Spinks, who has mounted very little defense.
And Mills Lane is looking very, very closely.
Until not even Mills Lane would allow it.
This round,
this really is. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it.
1984 was an Olympic year. It was there the world got its first look at the newest generation of up-and-coming talent. Evander Holyfield only managed a bronze after being disqualified for a left hook that KO'd his opponent on a clinch break.
People just gonna look at me just as just another boxer, but it turned out the other way, that people respected me a lot.
He turns pro and goes 11-0.
You have to put punches together like Holyfield has done right there
at the end of the fight. Shelby beat that count at the count of 9.
Holyfield and his handlers felt there was no time to waste. They pushed for the fight with Qawi, knowing Holyfield had limited time to win his title at cruiser.
We've all been waiting for the day when the 1984 American Olympic team would step up and meet the best of the world at their respective divisions. And today, Evander Holyfield becomes the first to do that.
The bout took place in Holyfield's home of Atlanta.
3 judges with a non-scoring wrestle. The standing 8 count is in effect, as is the mandatory 8 count.
The Jersey Devil went down to Georgia looking for a fight. Evander starts fast, making sure to put power punches behind his persistent jab.
Evander's just left.
Holyfield in the white trunks with blue.
Making Qawi pay for closing the gap he's closed so flawlessly his whole career.
Right now, Evander is getting through
a wild right after a good left.
Before long, it grew into a constant clash to see who could land first.
How many of those punches get through that good defense of his?
There's Evander moving side to side.
By round 2, the pace was set faster than anybody was comfortable with.
From Holyfield, but now
especially looking down that long 15-round stretch. Dwight changed nothing about how he fought.
He's going to war with Dwight Qawi. Holyfield was going for it. The key to the fight is whether he can sustain it.
It didn't matter. Holyfield was younger, bigger, and had been boxing since childhood. Evander spent every single second of the fight in a desperate bid to keep the buzzsaw at arm's length.
And he is very, very tired. Qawi has him right where he wants him. It clipped a little bit on the jaw, but he stumbled.
Because when Qawi got close, he was cutting Holyfield down with body work.
Good body shot by Qawi. Good body shot.
Holyfield used the same stick and move tactics all his other opponents tried, but he was determined to keep pace with the ex-con.
There's no way that I can imagine this.
Dwight Muhammad Qawi used to get stronger as the fight progressed.
Numerous shots. A right left combo to Holyfield.
He's got Holyfield staggering.
Qawi ran out in round 6, insisting on getting inside Holyfield's reach. Evander opens up with one of the longest combinations in the history of boxing. Qawi catches the rhythm midway and begins to get deep under the hooks. When Holyfield finally needs a moment to breathe, Dwight comes out of the depths to light him up like an anglerfish.
Just when you were talking about it, Qawi got underneath.
A full 4 years before Michael Jordan did it in the finals, Dwight Muhammad Qawi shrugs off his brilliance.
An area of boxing he has only experienced before. That area beyond the 6th round. Holyfield leaning in. Holyfield, you may hear Lou Duba screaming, hit the target, hit the target. Yeah, that target as this fight moves along.
Holyfield moved like the much younger man. Those long legs and arms had to work overtime to keep Qawi away.
Holyfield with the height advantage and the reach advantage, but experience and years in the ring lacking. But he's trying to tee off now on Qawi.
Dwight was determined. Never stopped coming forward at his prison riot pace.
Pulling with the jab and then coming up with the right uppercut, doubling with it.
Dragged out to the championship rounds, the Olympian was proving his poise and professionalism. By the time the 15th round had come and gone, a new star was born. An old one was on his way out.
His gloves have dropped. Both men showing unbelievable courage and determination. We can see Dwight head on right now. He is very tired. He is just...
It was the last great night of the Camden Buzzsaw. What a night it was.
Back up, and there's a new junior heavyweight Evander Holyfield!
Evander Holyfield would go on to share the ring with 5 of the greatest heavyweights ever to live. But it was the stump of Jersey muscle, sprung from a cell in Rahway, that he would forever call his hardest fight.